Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, you're well aware by now, as soon as we start the program, you can give us a call. You could practically dictate what we speak about. We never have a subject matter. We like people to express their views and their opinions on pertinent issues trending, politics, religion, any issue. The number to call is 4420175. On RealFM 91.5, we're struggling with the other medium, and we're on YouTube and Facebook. And we encourage you to share our program. A number of people are not able to pick up our program on the radio, so like our program and share it for us. That is an assistance you can provide for us in these trying times. And while we await your call, we are a little bit troubled. A number of people engaging, a number of people on the street. You know, when you do these programs, a lot of conversation take place when people meet you. People ask questions. And one of the things that have us baffled and puzzles is the low-income houses in Carriacou. Every time you go over it, it doesn't obey logics. It doesn't make much sense. You have over 100 units of houses in Carriacou that was built for low-income people. Carriacou was devastated, if that could be the correct word used. The housing stock in Carriacou was devastated. Calls are constantly being made, and rightly so, to people on the mainland to go up and help. You don't have houses to accommodate the volunteers. So some of them going up on Sunday and come back on Sunday. I spoke to a few individuals and they said to me, it is so tiring to go up in Carriacou on a weekend and come back the same time, the same day. He said, I'm not used to traveling. And I felt very sick going up on the boat. And then practically walking, I was not doing my best and dreading the return trip. He said he wished they could have established some camp that they could have remained there. So the first day you reach, you could recover. And that makes a lot of sense. But you have over 100 units in Carriacou that have not been occupied. The buildings are unoccupied. There is no serious damage to the building that you could see or you hear about. Then the question is, why is these low-income houses are not provided for people to live, even temporarily? I was so disturbed when I heard two instances. During the hurricane, where people went to other people's neighbors' door for rescue, and they did not accept them. I know it's difficult. Sometimes you live in a neighborhood and you're doing well, and the villagers perhaps don't admire you, they don't appreciate you. They might say negative things about you. And I know how hard it is for those who are making progress. Sometimes those around are pulling you down. But in a disaster, you have space. And these people leave their homes because they was not certain it would survive the hurricane. And they came with children, and you did not accept them. But we have the same thing going on at a government level. And this is what disturbs me most. The government of Grenada is extremely insensitive and practically hostile to people in the lower income group. We have been saying that long before Hurricane Beryl. But you see it play out now. The government have 100 housing units that was not built by them. It was not negotiated in that time. It was built by the Chinese as a result of negotiation with the NNP. Because of Ivan. Now the government have these houses there. And the government as a policy decided not to give the people in the lower income group. That in itself is a crime. That in itself is one of the most heartless acts ever undertaken by any politician in Grenada. The houses was built for people in the lower income group that could not access loans in the financial institution. That was the objective. Government, particularly in Carriacou, hand over the keys to people to occupy the houses. Election change. The government rescinded the order. They take back the keys. And next hurricane come. As if the hurricane come to let the government have some sense. The government denying the poor of the poor, those in need. And who is in need in Carriacou now? The people that the roof was removed from their homes. And a couple weeks after, they lack the ability or the capacity to put back the roof. So they're topless. Yet, they're watching 100 units there, and the government refused to give them. The government is using the police to prevent them from accessing the house. That baffles my mind. I wonder what the leaders of the Caribbean is saying. I wonder what is going through Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister Dominica, the Prime Minister in Antigua. I know he is very vocal. What is going through their mind? What level of heartlessness that exists in Grenada? I've always said Grenada is a country that don't obey logics. Derek Walcott in St. Lucia, when he come to Grenada, he was surprised how marked the class structure was. And every day you've seen it unknowingly playing out. Now, how do you explain this act of the government? And it seems that so much people agree with it. That is what's frightening. The amount of people that agree that the government should deny people who are exposed to the inclement weather, people whose roof is out, people with children. The government is denying them the house. Not the government that built the house. Not the NDC government that built the house. These houses was built by the Chinese, and the government, the previous government objective was for the low income group. And the method, the method for their remunerating for the houses was rent to own. So if you're paying $300 a month for rent, that money goes to the principal. When you finish pay, the house belongs to you. An easy method, an affordable method. Now I have trouble. That is what is sad. When our country is reduced to this level of insensitivity, what do we expect? I wish I could have heard the voice of, there are some people in Grenada that I respect their voice over the years. There was some measure of consistency in their expressions. And it's hard, it's difficult. When individuals come on radio and speak, don't believe that they are not backlashes, They're backlash for your children. They are backlash for your members of your family. The government political activists will be searching your closet to see what they could do to silence you. And this is what contributes to the malady that continues. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I always raise that point. And I now join you, and I hear you come with that. Tears, right? I'm talking to you, and tears running through my eyes right now. Seriously. Tears are running through my eyes right now. And cold bomb take me. Oh! What in Kevin mind? Poor people vote you in. Carriacou, pastoral grinder. Carriacou is like Gaza. We can watch Carriacou, but I was in Carriacou, you can take me in Carriacou. Carriacou is like Gaza. And this young man, people vote you in power, and people vote you in power. And you deny them. So, as you say, Alwino wasn't built by you, wasn't negotiated by you. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a crime. It's a Pierre when I'm listening to you.
We have some wicked people in Grenada in high places, They pretend they like people. And sometimes people hear me speak repeatedly and constantly about the education system. And I say some people don't want some people's children to succeed. They don't want them to succeed. They want them to fail. And you don't understand why. Sometimes I say to people, if the neighbor's children succeed, it's better for you. Because if your children succeed and the neighbor's children turn delinquents, they might break your place. They might harass your children. Your child might end up making child for the neighbor's child. And you may have grandchildren that a mother on drugs and the father in jail. Because when your daughter or your son that succeeded end up with the neighbor's child that did not succeed, they might push drugs on your child. Your daughter might come home and your grandchild taking drugs because the neighbor's child peddling drugs. Now, if you want to plant corn and you have a good breed of corn and all your neighbor have poor quality corn, you're going to end up with poor quality corn because of pollination. So it's better you share the good quality corn with your neighbor, and every year select the best seeds in the biggest calm and plant it and tell the neighbors the technique, so the whole neighborhood, the quality of the corn going to improve. It's similar. If the people in Carriacou are outside, that is a very traumatic period. But the government have 100 housing units that they believe those people that will break their house is classless. They're not good for the house. Then a lot of anger and bitterness and hatred going to develop. Some of you younger ones don't know what it means to see trouble to sleep in your house when rain falling. Some people used to sing, dry weather house, they don't want a scent. And you have to pay so much for rent. Now, it used to create a lot of laughter. But sometimes even on the bed, you have to move the bed to avoid water. Now, how could we have a government that is so heartless? And why is it all these individuals, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, not the president, yes, the president of the Grenada Trade Union Council, the TUC. I would have liked to hear what is their opinion on this issue. How these individuals who supposed to represent workers, how they consider themselves in this super class that they could be so heartless. When the government was using, in my opinion, extremely divisive and objectionable language, I never hear the TUC president object. The farmers' representative in the Senate, I guess that representative too is not a commoner. I never hear him object. The Chamber of Commerce or the business representative in the House, I never hear they object to that. The Bar Association president, they did not object. And a number of the civil group organization stayed quiet when these group of politicians considered Grenadians as good people and bad people, commoners, classless. Well, what is your position on the houses in Carriacou? Why is it the government is not using the houses in Carriacou to help rescue the people who are struggling in Carriacou? Would it not be embarrassment for you when you travel and Dominican, Vincent and Barbados, Jamaica, asking you why Grenada refused to give Grenadians the houses during the period of the hurricane? Now, if the government could do that, we can't chastise anybody for denying people or denying to rescue people during this hurricane. I've heard a number of instances where people deny people from coming in our house. Grenada is a small country. Carriacou is 7,000 people. And when you start to do that, you fracture in your society. It becomes very divisive. and people would fight against people. The crab in the barrel mentality would grow. So I believe as Grenadians, I'm extremely concerned of the government action, but even more concerned of the people who supporting the government. This government has done a number of things to cause people to seriously raise eyebrow. The first one was the removal of $150 from the elderly. And they take money even from disadvantaged children. And several children had to drop out from National College. And the level of lies that this government constantly propagates, brazen lies, without compunction, with great regularity. The government tell lies on issue. The lavish lifestyle that this government culture themselves with. And no, the government have over 100 housing units empty, and they refuse to let people occupy them while they're asking for help and assistance. Now, where you get these people and them? These members come from us. All of them, I believe, without exception, come from the children of labor. They had the opportunity to go to school and do well academically. All of them, without exception, I believe, went to university, aided by the government of Grenada. And they are the ones that are turning against the people. If that is the direction we're going, we're going to turn this country around. You look at Haiti, you have kidnapping. Some people believe it's a failed state. Look at Jamaica. Look at the level of crime in Jamaica. Most of the other countries' crime rate is increasing. But this government seems to be doing everything within their power to increase the crime in the country. And they're so insensitive. And that is one of the problems. Why? What is the justification? What reason for the low-income houses built by the Chinese remains unoccupied, irrespective of the disaster that take place with housing in Carriacou? What is the reason? I wish our journalists could have, well, again, the government have the view that information is based upon need to know. They're going to only tell you what they want you to know. And some of our journalists have compromised themselves. I'm not surprised. Malcolm X wrote about it. Most of the journalists seems that where the NDC government is concerned, they're quiet. I don't know if they have been made to stay quiet or if it's just natural because they are inclined towards the government. But when you do that, you're practically making journalism obsolete. Because of technology today, you will have a number of radio personalities on radio And if the journalists don't maintain the relevancy, nobody would take them seriously. But there are people like Ray Roberts. I would really like to hear Ray's view on that. I don't think presently he thinks too kindly about me. But I would have liked to hear his public view. What he believes is the reason. Why? What is the justification for the government not giving the low-income houses in Carriacou to the people of Carriacou now? I'd like to hear William Joseph's position on that. Just as the leaders of the trade union. The TUC trade union leader is generally very quiet. At one time I was wondering if he was incapacitated. I'm not hearing them on that. You see, I say these things because these are the individuals that like to champion high morality and accountability and present themselves as if they're very objective. I would like to hear St. Jude on it. Well, the teachers union, Jude, I think is an embarrassment to the trade union. First time I hear a trade union leader publicly going after a sister trade union members and want the government to fire them. First time I hear that. So he perhaps is not relevant in this issue. The teachers union executive seems to be totally out of groove. I don't think he could be taking this action unilaterally. I think he has the backing of his executive. And it tells you how sad it is for the education system. Tells you how sad it is for the education system. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, caller.
How do you do, sir?
Great, man. Good, man.
I listened to GBN program this morning, and I hear the host was saying that he reading the news and saying that 95% of Grenlec sending that report saying 95% of the current already on strip, right? But as me, I didn't hear, I just hear anything about Carriacou. So now, I call and I say, innocent. I don't understand you saying Quran going up. Carriacou a place to put Quran? Carriacou don't have no houses in Carriacou to put up Quran, so I don't know where they put the Quran up. Where they put the Quran up, what is like, them hacker never ready for me, eh?
Yeah.
They're ready for me. As a call, they pick me up as I put down. But they put it on, they raising the worst one. Because they know they can't raise me, so it don't make sense they attacking. Mr. Pierre, when things don't going right, the things not going right. The amount of houses are supposed to go. The roof would go, houses supposed to almost up already. Let the people and them be happy. Rain. That is rain season, Mr. Pierre. And uncomfortable. The people and them very uncomfortable. Why is that so? We getting the money, pocketing the money, and we're not working with the money. The money is not no government money, you know. The money is the people's money. Work for the people. Why this hacker them don't work for the people? Stop making the people uncomfortable. The same people and them will put you there, you doing the people and them that. Eh? Mr. Arnold said the good people put him in power, and he doing like if he don't have no good people again in St. Patrick West. That is foolishness, man. What happened to us? Try putting up the people's shelter. Let them feel comfortable. Or if you're not putting up the houses, you don't know how the houses built. You don't know how the houses are built. Up more the houses and let it go inside it. Mr. Pierre, have a blessed afternoon here, sir.
Yes, scholar. I think more people should raise their voice asking why the houses in Carriacou are not provided for the people, even temporarily. And I think Caribbean leaders must be watching Grenada and say, well, something really wrong with us. And we have to remember this is a democracy. And our people deserve the government that they have. More and more, I believe that. Normally, some people will be very skeptical of speaking because there are repercussions. When you come on radio and you speak against a government and you speak about education and you speak about lawyers, there are serious repercussions. But yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
good afternoon, Antagonist. Mr. Pierre, do you know how pigs just operate in the sea? When you're thrown over in the sea, what they say pig does do? Wherever you hear the leaders, where you going?
I thought they say the pigs always head for land.
Exactly. All right, so
They say once where you want to know where the nearest land is, throw a pig overboard.
yeah. So let me tell you about that house in Carriacou and most of them houses in Grenada that the Chinese built. What they men decide to do with the houses is what they do. We can talk from now till Damascus till Christ come. What they doing? That ship is still there. We don't know what's going on. We call them with that. You see, people don't seem to understand what's at play here. The lady I just called a while ago, I heard the lady on GBN this morning, and I listened to what she said, and I heard the newscast say that Grenada did 95% of Grenada. Now, why was it 95% of Grenada when the whole of Grenada wasn't affected?
Well, Grenada involves Carriacou and Petit-Martinique, so that's a wrong statement.
Well, no, it wasn't wrong. They also said there are about 10% Petit-Martinique Carriacou, and the guy said they have a small generator for street lights in Petit-Martinique. I didn't see the news.
Okay.
But the thing that I heard was 95% in Grenada. What I'm saying, 95% of Grenada was not damaged in the Hurricane Beryl. It's most St. Mark's, Sotters, and your
St.
area.
Patrick's and some aspects of St. Andrews.
Conference and these places, and they're not 95% of Grenada. So if they had said 5% of Grenada was damaged, we don't understand. Yeah. The lady did call and talk with the current in Carriacou, and rightly so, right? There are houses that is on the ground flattening. I understand that. I mean, the banks, if the building is usable, the credit unions, fine. Because right now, there's a radio station in Carriacou that is operational.
Yeah.
And that same set radio station, these guys, well, you know what they're for. Yeah. I just listened to a guy called and continue. That guy that called that program a while ago, he continues to ask about NMP convention and what is illegal and all kind of nonsense. He now pushing something about somebody party. I'm saying what they're saying. The reason why is that they can't mind the business. So if somebody have a body party, you hear they have a body party. You don't see it, you don't know. You just have no other people have, but you hear they have a body party. Is that your business? You live in the hell in America, wherever you live in the bush in America. To come on a radio station and talk about that? To prove what? Life had to go on still. Because guess what? The same station that you call in there, ask them, what did they put together to give people a Carriacou instead of they on a radio trying to defend a party that ain't doing nothing for them? Ask them what they get from that same political party that they're supporting, the same government that they're supporting. Ask them what they get, and ask them what their government, what the party, the NDC party is doing for Carriacou. Up to now, you didn't see a group, you ain't nothing but women's arm, but NMP do other things with some wheels on wheels. They want to send health inspectors. NMP set up some toilet with cleaners, or we bluffing on all kind of nonsense. There are certain things that the party NMP is doing that is not being broadcast because hence the reason why this politicizing of the damn thing. We too big for this nonsense. And here's what, for who don't know, if half of the people in Carriacou don't know what a hurricane is, I've been through one in Grenada, twice. Right? In my little lifetime, I've been through one twice. And some of us been through 3 times. And the political party that was there, not 2 hurricane time, was the NNP as a government. Them was there. They was there to chikungunya, they was there for storm surge, they was there for what? COVID, and all these things. So don't give me this bull crap about all in taking advice and sit back and let Deacon and them do what they do. The party and the government have been through all these disasters and come out it successfully so, with minimal deaths. It's who? And led by who? You understand? So when you need advice, take advice from the people that know about it. It's like your parents, Mr. Pierre. and you try to tell your parents what to do and they all learn you, they know what they're doing. Listen, and a good listener, a good learner. And lastly, what is going on in Grenada right now also, Mr. Pierre? We hear now we have dengue on the rise. We are here now we have COVID on the rise. All these things, where are the vector controls? Where are these people? Because what's going on in Carriacou right now is a health situation right now. And every Saturday or Sunday, you're hearing people going up in Carriacou. And let's hope people not getting sick and they're protecting themselves using PPEs because, trust me, it's a good thing to go and volunteer to clean up, but it's a bad thing to go and volunteer and get sick while you're doing clean up. Mr. Pierre, have a good afternoon.
Yes, and we have our brother from Baltimore, Cynthia from Baltimore in Maryland, and we have some individuals from Montu, Granans, and a number of other people from different parts of the island. And we welcome you. We're very happy to have you on the program and your contribution. And we always concern when you look at a country and you see growing insensitivity, because that's a small country. This thing helps to give rise to crime. In a lot of instances, the influence of the church in Grenada is being seriously diluted. The secular world, secularity, or what you express it, is growing in prominence. Grenada have a lot of remnants of communism, so they don't believe in church. We have a lot of people that may be quiet, but they ain't so fussy about God. Let me put it that way. They ain't so fussy about God. They are very hardline in their ideology. So when you see a government taking policy position that is fractious, that is demeaning, that is vengeful, you need to be concerned. Several days ago, there was an activity by the Jab. A massive crowd was pulled out. Massive. And those who organized it could applaud themselves, because it's ordinary individuals on the ground that was able to pull out a massive crowd. I don't think the police managed it well. Maybe the police did not expect that crowd, because a lot of similar activities were held in 3 or 4 places in St. Andrews. Guns were fired based upon my information by the police, and there could have been a stampede. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost that caller?
Stop there.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I was trying to ask you a question now. If you have something what don't good, you going to keep it? What?
Now, if you don't good, you dispose of it.
No,
You listen to the radio, don't listen to the radio.
yes, it's up there. I was trying to ask you now, if you have something what don't good, want to keep it. If you get rid of it.
I'll get rid of it if you don't good. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say now is like Grenadian, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, right? They had a government, right? And it was not good. It isn't good. And they throw it away and they take one what good. So then they're not supposed to complain. You don't have supposed to want no complaint, because they didn't want the government they had. They wanted a good one and they changed it. They throw away the bad one and they keep the good one. So what is the complaint? They're not supposed to complain anymore, because they throw what they had. They tell you when trouble don't trouble you. Don't trouble. But they trouble. So that's why they have to end up in that situation. And as I say, as how Camille don't say, I'm never sorry, because they're also greed. So let them take what they get now and let them see what is the problem. They want us to feel pressure. Let them feel pressure. Have a good evening.
Well, in politics, it's not like that because the popular vote that separate the two parties is about 2,000 to 3,000 people, and then the opposition got 6 seats, and the government got 9. So, based upon the package that the government offered, the NDC offered, it looks attractive. And people gravitate to the package. Remember, the government tell them there is no need for a parallel public service. They spoke with conviction. They tell them all of them will be made permanent. That was a very powerful promise. They said there was no need for contract workers. They told about 3,000 people, we're going to give you permanent jobs. That was the Imani. So the pensioners, they gave the impression that it was going to pay everybody pension. These were very powerful recommendation, very powerful suggestion, very powerful offer, very powerful campaign strategy that they offer the people. So we can't say we don't sorry for them, because what the government doing now is going to affect the whole country. When you promise people transformation, dramatic change, and then you say, well, I promise you dramatic change, but it's not really dramatic change. I mean political vengeance. The government deceive the people. You can't blame them. The government lie. The government deceive. And the government made unreasonable promises. And people gravitate towards that. So I wouldn't blame anybody that voted for the government, and we need to be sorry for those who are crying out. And remember, what the government doing is going to affect Grenada. When the government cause fracture and political vengeance, it's going to affect the country. When the government refuse to give the low-income houses to people, the government is encouraging people who have good houses to deny, rescuing people in tumultuous time. This government is doing untold damage to the country. They never tell the people they go sell Green Lake. They never did. They never tell the people they're going to lie for the Haitians and trick them. They never tell people these things. They never promise people that they're going to take the money from the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. They never promise to fire the road workers. So the government lied to the public when they were campaigning. They deceived them. They tricked them. They never tell the people as soon as we come, we're going to take $25,000 a month. They never tell people that. They never tell people we go travel as if we inherit money. One minister went away 24 times in 23 months. And we understand the government had to pay for she man to go with her. And she run up hotel bill in excess of $40,000. The government never tell people they're going to raid the GDB bank. They lie. They deceive the people. Now, if they said when they were campaigning, we go raid the bank, we won't give you permanent, people would have never voted for them. The government never tell people they were vultures that are going to prey on the weak. They never tell people that. So I don't agree with you. I'm very sorry for the people who vote for them. Remember, inside NNP, inside the National Democratic Congress, NDC, there was a lot of NNPs. So people were tricked. People were deceived. People were lied to. So we have to sorry for them. We know we have to stand the consequences, but we speak because we want to show the NDC it is not in your political interest. It is not in your economic interest. It is not necessary, and it is not justified. And to remind them that all of us in Grenada are brothers and sisters. We know that some of us who are openly vocal on radio, there will be repercussions. But so was slavery. And that is why slavery lasts so long. Because some people was afraid to speak because they come after them. Uriah Buzz Butler spent 8 years in jail. And number of people who were in the forefront of struggle, they die like paupers. Some of them were beaten. Some of them spent endless time in jail. But they died. They shed their blood, their sweat, and their tears for us to have what we have today. And we have to try to preserve it. That's why most time I speak, I deal with the policy. And I dare and I challenge anyone to take me on. If they find what I'm saying is not the truth, take me on. And that's why I call on the trade union leaders and the Bar Association president. Because why I call on the bar? Because they can ride on the principles, the authority, the respect that the bar command, they can ride on the back. In other words, he plagiarized that, if that could be put in context. Because he gave the impression that he had deep pockets, he had money, and a lot of contacts. And when I asked the question in the rum shop, they say, well, the majority are lawyers supporting him. So he did that purposely. So people believe the majority are lawyers backing Deacon. So he say, I have contacts. So you ride on that respect that the Bars Association command in the country. They can dabble with their cult. Is the worst political creature that ever trod this nice little Spice Island earth. What is sad is the amount of people that remain silent. And some of them perhaps afraid that if they speak, the child won't get a scholarship. That is why Deacon introduced restorative justice and set up a department for political mischief. Their children won't get scholarship. A young child wouldn't get a work as a teacher, a policeman, a public officer, because the Prime Minister have seen it. Some people in Carriacou are going to hush them out now because they believe if they talk too much, they won't give them house. They won't give them assistance. Some farmers quiet because they know the government will not assist some farmers. So they go, some going to stay quiet. That is the challenge that we have. And the more that refuse to speak because they are afraid, it's worse. If you're afraid, then just imagine what would happen in years to come. If you're afraid that if I open my mouth, my child won't get a scholarship, then you're in serious trouble. You have to speak. Because I believe if the government continue like that, they're going to run this economy in free fall. Grenada could well be the laughing stock if we not as yet in the Caribbean. And some individuals that commanded respect before, people wouldn't care about them. And when you see a crowd of young people being summoned by the drum and the shell, they have no loyalty for no one. And there's a growing level of disdain and disrespect for elders and institutions in the country, but also for women. Nowadays, the amount of mother you're hearing, your mother this and your mother that. Even women cussing poor mother. All these things contribute to the deterioration of your society. More and more you see the influence of the church is less. In yesteryear, people want to go to certain schools because they're very respectful, they're high on discipline. Well, you don't find enough nuns now to be in the school. The religious persons are seriously compromised. They lose their salt. They become saltless. And our society is deteriorating. The Prime Minister said morality is a private thing. Even our foreign affairs seems to be in the hands of a third party. And we remain silent. When will we speak? When will we speak? The prison is overpopulated. We are asking for stronger penalties. Whose children you believe going in jail? You believe the wealthy with clout child going in jail? No. Your child and my child that are more likely to go in prison because we do not have the discretionary income. We don't have the clout. We don't have the economic power. So if you reach in front, judge 1,000 years, crap or smoke your pipe without tobacco. Judge 1,000 years, give the stiffest penalty to men. That is why we should speak out. That is why the radio station in Carriacou now should have been telling people what is the reason they can't get the house in Carriacou. They must speak the truth. That very station was advocating that Carriacou seceded. And the lawyer that like weed say they should go and join. He don't care if they join Australia and New Zealand. He don't want grader on them. I don't know if they still want to secede. If he and the radio station still propagating the view that they should secede. But in a democratic process, our voice help to keep the democratic process alive. We can't afford to shut them out. We can't afford that. The government would like us to do it now. They will do everything in their power to intimidate, threaten us. But remember, some men die to get slavery abolished. Some of them end up in prison. Some of them die as a pauper. You know? But they was able to achieve something for humanity. And that's what we're all about. That's what is important. It's not how much money you have and whether you receive $160,000 to jump the fence, or whether you had to give me a gracious offer to stay silent in cabinet. No, that's bribery. This government seems to, at every turn, opening a cesspool for corruption. It's a cockistocracy. And we have to be careful when we have that. Otherwise, your country deteriorates. The people say, if the priest could play, who is me? If the government want money at all costs, the drug men, gambling, and other crimes going to be at the rise. I have said before, and I verily believe that this upsurge in gun crime was as a direct responsibility of the Minister of Legal Affairs and the Prime Minister of Grenada. And the other members was complicit. Their actions serve as a catalyst to arouse the violent trait in our young people. Firing gun in public. And that is why I want to beg the police to be careful with the word stampede. The location where you fired guns over a crowd head, there was filled with exit. In fact, the whole place was an exit. But if you go and do that in other locality, in other location, in other villages, you could have a stampede and you could lose hundreds of lives. And everybody going to blame the few policemen that do it. So I beg you to study the cause and effect of human stampede. We can go on doing as if we don't have a history. When you look back at the history, you don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. But you also want to see in the future and recognize that actions you take now could seriously influence what happened to Grenada in the next 5-10 years. We want to encourage you to share our program. Share our program because of the challenges the radio station have. We are not reaching a number of people that we used to reach. Many asking if we come back. So please share our program. Put it on send it to your friends on WhatsApp. Share it on Facebook. Share it on YouTube to others. Send the link to them. Subscribe to our program and let the truth be told. We must have a culture for the truth. We must seek the truth. We must like the truth. We must want to find information for ourselves and then make decision for ourselves. Don't let people listen and then tell you what's going on. You want to hear it for yourself. Tell them, send me the link so I could hear what On Target say for myself. Because On Target decides to propagate the truth. Thank you very much. We're back with you again next week between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch. Thank you.